Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Yggdrasil Roadshow, another edition. It's time to look at the June games. We got a lot of really sweet stuff coming up, to say the least, especially here with Candyfinity, Candy game, so sweet indeed. In addition to some awesome games that we're going to have a look at later on in the panel, well, very, very shortly, to be fair. We have network promotions. There is one in June, and that is the gem drops. It's a 40k prize drop. Players will get rewarded on the spin. Easy stuff. There's no leaderboards. There's no thingamajigs. It's just added value straight in the bank of the players on the house. Well, on Yggdrasil, of course. The games here, do look out for which games you have live when we have the price drop. It is not as important because all you really need is one game and the players can play and access the prizes just as well. Not a problem. Hottest hits, that was hard to say. It's the network promo in July, and while the weather is super hot, so is the network promo. This is a missions tournament, missions network promo, where basically the players has missions to accomplish within the game's part of the promo. So here it is more important for you to have all the games live so that you get everything out of the promo, because if you don't have all the games live, well, they can still play it and they can still rank, but they won't be able to finish all the missions, which might not be the best experience. If you have any questions about this, do not hesitate to speak to your account manager, your key account manager, and yeah, take it from there. Not a problem. Looking at the panel of the day, we got some familiar faces here. But also we have Craig Ball, who hasn't been on the roadshow for years. So it's good to see him back. But we got Sebastian Belton here. It's featuring in 3 games tonight. He's got 2 Yggdrasil titles here, starting off with Candyfinity and Starfire Fortunes. Following that, we have Frank McPolin himself from Bang Bang with another banging release. It's Joker's Wild Ultra Nudge, but this time also with Gigablocks. Imagine nudging them gigablocks. It's going to be an amazing experience for sure. The theme is a new take on the theme, so it's a different game, completely revamped math models, mechanics, everything, but it's in the familiar kind of concept of the Joker's Wild Ultra Nudge that we have all come to love. Craig Ball following up here from Bulletproof Games. He got the Diamond Symphony, and he will play us some lovely tunes here in a neon kind of 80s landscape with double max as well in there. Some encore features. There's meters to fill. There is multipliers to be multiplied. So that is going to be an awesome presentation. Do look into that one. That game really pops, gotta say. Last out in the panel is Sebastian Belton coming in again here with featuring here for Jelly, presenting the game Beastie Blocks. And here is another kind of duo mechanic game with gigablocks and super stacks. So just imagine super stacks gigablocks. Wow, pretty high potential. So that's going to be a really nice game. The setting is in the jungle. And the host, as always, is me, myself, and I, Alexander Lapiniemi. And I think it's time to get into the content. Enjoy, everybody. Have a good one. All right, welcome back to the Roadshow. Sebastian Belton, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Alex, good to be here as always. Another day, another dollar. Looking forward to showcasing our excellent games as always.
Awesome stuff. And I can see that you are tuning in from what looks like Candyland. You've got plenty of sweets by your side. Tell us about this place. Is it a magical place?
It is Willy Wonka's. You know, I've been around been hanging out there, and he's just showing me around his Candyland. So here, yeah, so it's quite nice here. It's pretty sweet, one would say, even.
Oh, pretty sweet. You got yourself the golden ticket, I would assume then. Awesome stuff. Cool beans. Well, I can't wait to see what you got to show us today here. I'm assuming it's about candy, seeing we got the Candy Finity there behind you. So let's get into the gameplay.
Yeah, let's jump straight in. Okay, welcome everyone to Candy Finity, the latest release from Yggdrasil. As you can see, it's a very colorful game. And it is a cumulative ways game. As you can see, with each win, there is a lot going on. So when you get a win from a ways, it will move the reels one column to the right. It will then also populate the furthest left column with one additional symbol. You can see here we got a 4 in the left symbol, and this will continue actually with each win, adding an additional symbol height to the height of the column, up to a maximum of 6. So the maximum benefit is a 6x6 reel. It starts off as a 6x3 reel. In addition to this, as you can see, with additional wins, you can also trigger continuous wins. You can trigger the multiplier. The multiplier, in conjunction with the continued wins, provides a huge payout potential. And this is kind of the USP of the slot, and it's certainly the intrigue point for the customers. As you can see, we're getting consecutive wins here and receiving those multiplier benefits, which can in turn pay out the huge potential returns. This is reset after each spin. Later in the game, when we activate the bonus, you will see there are some distinct differences between the base game and the free spins module. We're going to look now at the free spins, so I can explain this. You need a minimum of 3 bonus symbols to trigger it. There is also a gamble feature, which we're going to quickly look at here. You can see we're gambling from 6 initial free spins. We will hit the benefit here and get the additional 2 free spins and then collect them for activation. The free spins module here, what we're looking at is the same kind of process as the base game, but the excitement factor has been ramped up significantly. We now keep the adjustments. So you can see we're now getting a lot of extra lines here. We're now hitting well into the 6 height columns, but they are retained, as you can see, as are the multipliers. And this is really the absolute main point of the game. What makes it a very, very engaging slot is the anticipation of the cumulative multipliers, and also now that we've got a full reel of 6x6, the potential is increased substantially. So we have much more ways. As you can see there, the ways are up to 46,656 ways. And the potential for the multipliers is now much, much higher, giving the customer a very good potential chance of navigating to a big win, obviously giving them a really exhilarating experience. Obviously, high volatility here, so the expectation of it going either way can happen, but those sort of really gem experiences of an exhilarating wing is definitely the main selling factor for this slot, and what we should aim to, what customers should aim to have when playing. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that presentation. And I gotta say, this game looks very tasty. It's very high finish. I do love the kind of the animation, the cascading to the side effect here, and the what's the English word for that candy that's kind of stripy? We call it polka gris in Sweden, but what's the English word?
It depends. I think we've got the Christmas ones as well, which candy canes, I think.
Candy cane, yeah, it's a candy cane.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That bing immediately rang a bell for me. Awesome stuff. Big fan of candy canes. I think that's really nice. I do love when the theme works well with the mechanics, and that was the point I was making here with
Absolutely
the candy cane talks. So I want to talk a little bit more about the theme, because I do want to say that coming from Yggdrasil, it's a little bit of a unique one. It's not something that we've done before. It's something different. So am I right here in assuming that we sat down and we decided we're going to do a candy game, and then we kind of found the mechanics around that, or was there another process? Can you tell us about this?
So Candyfinity, I mean, it's in the name really. Is the finity, infinity? It's meant to define infinity. I guess they put it together because it sounded better, but it's more about the fact that it's an infinity reel process whereby that you can continually keep the reels moving,
Ah.
expand the height of the reels, generating those wins. So that mechanics there, in terms of the stylistic aesthetic of the game, obviously candy themed games are really big in the industry and have had a lot of success across a variety of different markets. Obviously, as well, we're looking at mobile games like Candy Crush, some of the biggest games ever to exist in gaming. So obviously it makes sense that we would want to continue to levy those kind of ideals. It does have an application for soft markets like bingo. Obviously, without it's a no-brainer really for those because of the coloring and the way it looks. It's going to appeal to those types of customers. But it has a hard casino mechanic and gameplay style, so it really has an application there for the casino market as well. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, two sides of the different coin. And that's kind of what we're aiming for, kind of like a wider scattergun approach with the game to appeal to a wide variety of different customers.
Yeah, I quite like that. Now we're getting into the math here, which would be kind of the next topic. Very smooth transition. I do like also your analogy here, both sides on both coins, like basically all sides of all coins. We have a soft game with a kind of a heavy-hitting math model. So we have a bit of an interesting mix here where I do think there's going to be a nice crossover. But let's talk about the kind of the math from a player journey perspective, as in how will the player perceive the potential in the base game and moving into the bonus round? What do you think?
So Alex, so as I mentioned in the base game, there is the USP is basically the infinity reels process of it moving across the reels, creating more opportunity. When that opportunity arises, the multiplayer is brought into play to facilitate big wins. I think customers will see that as it develops when they play, and that will be the engagement factor of the slot on how I feel that customers will enjoy Candyfinity. The free spins, of course, is just like an enhancement of it. It's the same process, but just a much bigger, more exciting prospect. So it just builds on the base game mechanics and develops a more thrilling slot experience when they do get to that part of the slot experience.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I mean, we kind of mentioned this, I guess, throughout the talks and discussions here, but let's iterate on this because I want to talk about this as well. So, like, the $1 million question here is then, like, who is this game for, do you think?
That's a very loaded question and a good one. It's a tough one. I think, as I said, it's two-sided because it's got a variety of different things going on. The thematically, it's very applicable to soft earth customers that might, as I said, like access bingo,
Exactly.
side games and stuff like this because of the way that a game looks, and they may enjoy that on an because it is an exhilarating slot. I think it has a lot of high octane experiences in it. However, having said that, because the mechanic is so strong from a regular casino perspective, it will appeal to the demographics of regular casino players that may just play not be interested in sort of bingo or anything like that, just playing on the casino slots page, Vegas. But even though the theme is not traditionally in there, the actual mechanics are very applicable for those types of players. So I think, as I said, it's a scattergun approach to sort of trying to appeal to quite a wide demographic.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a main. I want to say it's a main selling point of the game that we're doing it this way, and it's going to be really interesting
Absolutely.
to see how that plays out, especially in some of the engagement KPIs, looking at the average spin per player. Because if you design for everybody, you're not designing for anyone. Or is that true? I want to say it's not, because when it comes to games, it's about the experience. And if you have this amazing theme and it plays so well, it looks so good with the animations, I think that is core to the experience. To
I
conclude,
100% agree. 100%
yeah,
agree. I think
awesome stuff.
also on that point, just to say that the fact that the reels have those points from the very get go. As soon as you get a win, you see that expansion of the reels, and it opens up a new layer of the experience. Customers are going to be intrigued, and they're going to at least spin to see where that goes. And I think that will be the deciding factor. But it's there for customers to explore, and I think that the mechanic's strong enough for them to actually engage with that and see where it takes them. And that's why it's got a good selling point.
100%. So to conclude here, what are the different ways to bet in the game?
In terms of, there's a buy bonus available, I believe, with a single option, and obviously our golden bet feature, which is in most of our Yggdrasil games, giving you an increased chance to access the free spins module.
And the buy bonus, it's 100x buy, or what are we looking at here for the cost?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
100x. Yeah.
Cool stuff. And that is a Candyfinity, but you are not done here yet, my friend. You got another game. You actually got 2 more games in the Roadshow. But coming up right now is the next Yggdrasil release of the month. So without further ado, let's dig into that game.
Indeed, Alex. Let's dig into Starfire Fortune's Top Hit. Top Hit being the latest in our gems, our own mechanic, and one I'm very excited about. Starfire Fortune's Top Hit, ready to be the next greatest hit from us, I believe. We have an amazing mechanic here, and I'm excited to explain it to you. So as you can see, it's a 5x3 reeler. The top reel has what I call, this is the main top hit mechanic. What it does is every time that those appear, but it corresponds with the high-paying symbols on the reel, it will turn them into a wild. If you have more than one of them, it will double the wild to make it a 2x, and the third one a 3x, so on and so forth. This is, in my opinion, an excellent mechanic. It is primed to be a breakaway slot, and hopefully a long line of top hit slots to be hit in the future. Here we can see the nudge system. So as you can see, when the icons appear in the top reel, they might not always be in line. If the nudge icon appears, it will nudge them into the correct position, and those will be all updated. All of the symbols will be corresponding. You can get free spins as well. You know, it's 2 free spins there. We get the 3rd free spin, 4th free spin, 5th free spin. Free spin in the main game, but we got 2 of them in the as you can see, amazing artwork here. We're getting the free spins, 10 free spins. Very proud of our art. So the free spins is where it really gets exciting. So now you'll notice it's basically banked the values. When you see them in the top reel, they are banked to the right, and they are added up as they go through the reel. So you end up potentially with a lot of wilds in a lot of different positions. You can see we've now got a green, blue, and yellow are all wilds, with the yellow icon being a 3x now. We nearly have all of them on wild. We're waiting just for the purple. As you can see, we're now starting to get some really nice line wins here, adding up from those wilds, blowing everything up. This, in my opinion, is an excellent mechanic for customer interaction, and I'm really excited about this game. I'm trying to hold back a little bit because I obviously am a little bit biased for Yggdrasil titles, but in my professional opinion, this is a very strong mechanic. You can see there's a lot going on, a lot of flashing, a lot of lines winning, big cash wins, a lot of potential. Just a really strong mechanic, very simple to understand. I'm sure watching this, you guys can see exactly the kind of potential that this game can generate with customers, and we hope that you will see the potential like I do, to have it on your site. So yeah, as you can see, there's not really a lot to explain. We are reaching the end of the actual demonstration here, but you can see a massive win there, and it's very usual to actually get pretty big wins in the free spins module because of this amazing mechanic. Thanks for watching.
Awesome stuff, man. What a game. I gotta say, like, I really love these kind of highly finished games that really pops, you know. Just as we saw with Candyfinity, you know, like there's gone in a lot of work into the actual artwork, graphical assets, and how everything works together with the mechanic. And I really believe that is extremely key. Like when you're building a modern slot machine to die, like it needs to look good, man. And I think Starfire Fortunes really looks good, I gotta say. So obviously, as usual, I want to start talking about the kind of the process of making the game. And there's a new mechanic in here, which is we need to talk about that a little bit more. Because I want to know here, obviously, when we look at this beautiful game, is this mechanic, the top hit one, is it made for this game, or is that something we kind of put in there? Can you tell us about the making of the game?
So, Starfire Fortunes, it's got quite a mystical kind of aesthetic to it. Kind of astronomy kind of vibe to it. Lots of sort of stars, and obviously the as you mentioned, a very very well developed visual motif. Very proud of our artists and creative team coming together to make this absolute top tier graphical slot. We're very proud of that. But to top that, as you mentioned, it's not just a game that pops visually and looks very pleasing to the eye, but it has one of the best mechanics I've seen come out of the Yggdrasil studios. I cannot overhype this. I genuinely think this is going to be one of the top games of this year for us. If I'm
Wow,
honest,
that
that's my take. I'm putting it out there. The
those are some
potential.
really big words, man.
Yeah,
But you
it's a
know
big.
what? I I
Yeah.
I can't more than agree, looking at the game, having played it a little bit myself, I have very high hopes, man. Like very high hopes. So I mean we're just gonna see how it goes. Like me personally, I love playing it. I mean, I've been wrong before, like don't get me wrong. But I mean it's what I would say as well, 100%. But let's talk a little bit about the math. Let's move over to that straight away here from the team. Because obviously like it's a lot of potential in the game. There's a lot going on here, and that there's many combinations to be made. But like from a player journey perspective, coming into the base game and moving over to the bonus round, how what is the potential here?
Well, as mentioned, it is a high volatility slot. I think Yggdrasil, we continue to bring high volatility, high octane experience slots to the masses, and Starfire Fortunes is not a deviation from that. We are looking at in the future to develop a more wider portfolio, but at this time we continue to make high volatility slots, and Starfire Fortune slots directly into that premise. The experience, though, is perfectly developed for the top hit mechanic. I think it would not work on a soft profile. The idea is that you lock out with those in the free spins mod, you lock out with those collective high paying symbols appearing in the top hit mechanic along the top. And then you really go to town with the cash payouts, with getting those worlds topping up, like all landing together on the reel and just seeing a massive myriad of explosive wins. And that is the key factor to the success of the game. And I think is what is 100% what will drive the game to make it a classic.
Yeah, what you said there, man, that's a good, like, a massive myriad of explosive wins, but that's what you said. Just,
Yeah, yeah.
wow, I love that sentence, man. I'm gonna frame it like Starfire Fortune, a massive myriad of explosive wins, man. That's literally great selling text, and I think that's what you're looking for. And I believe that would also kind of answer the next question that we have here, which is, who is this game for? Maybe the ones that like the explosive myriad, well, a myriad of explosive wins. What do you say?
Well, that's a good question. People that play our slots know what to expect. However, having said that, the mechanic here, I think, drives I would say a wider selection of players, because yes, it's high volatility, but the experience is really. I've played it for quite a bit, just like you. Obviously, it's my job to look at these games in depth, and I've played it long enough to see that it's just sometimes I forget it's my job, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is such a good slot, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm playing again. It's not my real money, unfortunately. I didn't just win that 2,000 euros or whatever. But if you feel that way, if you start forgetting that you're reviewing the game, and you feel like you get into the game, and I get that feeling with Starfire Fortunes top hit. I really do. Like, I'm being genuinely honest about it, and that's lit a fire in me in the respect that I don't, I'm very enthused about all of our slots, but this one I've got a special feeling for, especially that I think it will do well across the board. I think it's got the potential for the longevity. I really hope it will become a classic. Of course, you know, words are words. We're never going to 100% know. Where at the end of the day, we're talking about the fickleness of customers. We never know what they're going to like, what they're going to take to. But just from personal and from a professional point of view, I think it's got the potential, and that's the bottom line of my opinion on the game, on the slot.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens, but we are in agreement, you and I, at the very least. So to conclude, let's talk about the different ways to bet. What's the cost of a bonus buy? Is there an anti-bet here?
Yeah, there's two modules for this. It's the standard process, really. I think we either have like as I said, a simple process with a single buy bonus, or there's the 100x, 500x. So it's the usual process. Is we're really with the customers having the option to enter with the basic sort of gamble free spins, and then there's the guaranteed maximum free spins process. So in that respect, for those that are going for the bonus buy. And by the way, I might add that's a really good point, because people that love the bonus buy, you're going to be in for a treat, because the free spins on the maximum free spins buy-in is always going to be an exciting prospect, and a lot of explosive wins potential. And those people that like that are going to love this game. It's right up their street.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that, Seb. Those two games are in the bag. So we're going to move on here in the panel, but you're going to return a little bit later here. You're going to be last out with the next game that you're going to present. So I'm going to see you very, very shortly. But before that, I'm going to be calling up some other studios, and we're going to look at some other games. Stay tuned,
Great.
guys. Thank you so much, Seb. Speak soon.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Roadshow once again, my friend. Frank McPolin, always a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Alex. How you doing? Good to be here.
Awesome stuff. So it looks like you're in a bit of a cool place today. Am I spotting some old Vegas kind of atmosphere, or
That's
what's
right.
going on?
Indeed, I am. Indeed, I am. Got my theme
Nice.
background, rocking and rolling, ready to go.
Nice, awesome stuff. Yeah, we're all looking forward to another banging release from Bang Bang. So why don't we go straight into the game?
Sure, why not? Yeah. So, yeah, brilliant. This is Joker's Wild Ultra Nudge Gigablocks, and the thinking behind this game is obviously our Ultra Nudge mechanic is super popular. We've got 4 games on that now, and they just seem to be going from strength to strength. Although the original is still a bit of a classic, if you ask me. And so we were really curious about, whether that mechanic, how cool would that be with Gigablocks? And so we did a couple of prototypes and really liked what we saw. So we pushed on with it, and yeah, so you get those nudging Gigablocks, which I don't think anyone's seen before. So really excited about that. The game itself is sort of a nice hybrid between the two. So our Joker's character here, he still starts off the Ultra Nudges in the base game. Little difference here, that multiplier is wild, and then in this game we've obviously still got that old way of the usual Gigablocks way of triggering these free spins. So let's have a few spins, see how we go. You can see the theme here. The original game was sort of a bit more retro, kind of. Oh, blimey, that was a close one. Yeah, that would have been good. But yeah, the original game was more set in that sort of almost Victorian music hall sort of thing. This game, the guy's been brought into the 21st century, and he's sort of almost like he's playing in Vegas now. So we've got a lot of that neon and the glitz and the sparkles and that going on. We've also obviously given the symbols an overhaul with to make them more block-like, which works. And also it's got new theme tunes and all that sort of thing. So this is me now forcing a trigger. And so, there's plenty of potential in the base game. These multipliers, this is going to be a good one. Yeah, the multipliers are coming in, and you're going to see those multipliers increase that base multiplier on every nudge, which really, really helps ramp that up. So, as you can see here, like I say, plenty of base game action going on, which is really nice about this math model. It's quite a friendly math model. I wouldn't say it's soft, but it's there's definitely nice variety. It's not just all about chasing those free spins. So it goes with a lot of Gigabox games, I guess. So we've also got our enhanced betting opportunities here. So we've got the bonus boost, which is our version of the anti-bet, which will just double your chances of hitting those free spins. And we've got a buy bonus, which is a very reasonable 80x to get into. It's going to award you a random number of free spins, but you know, based on what happens on the triggering spin here. So yeah, okay, so we've got 5 on the board, plus we actually always award +5 to whatever you landed there. That's the same with the base game free spins. It just gives you a little boost, because obviously, you know, 5 free spins in this game is not amazing. So we thought, like, you know, let's pile in another 5 on top of that. So we got 10 on this one, which is okay. Probably good for the brevity of this demonstration anyway. So we've also got the configurable gamble, which is the same setup as Joker's Wild, and we'll go for it here and see what happens. But this is going to give us double multipliers. So we're going to start on ×2, and all the multipliers that are on the reels are going to be double. Oh, that's good. Yeah, this is handy. So what they would have been if we hadn't gambled. So yeah. Here we are, free spins. The main differences here are that although we've got it there, we don't actually need the Joker character to start the win streak in free spins. Any win will start Ultra Nudge streak. Of course, these multipliers don't reset. This is going to be a great one, because we can see we're going to get awarded that multiplier on every nudge here. So that's what you really want to see. You want to see that multiplier come in on the top reel and get a nice streak going down. So yeah, not too much more to add here. Let's see what the game is going to deliver for us. So looking good so far, though. I mean, we're sort of only a couple of spins in. We're already on a 10x multiplier, which is good. That helps. That's going to give us another boost as we nudge that down. And this is a really good typical example of how we wanted these free spins to play out, right? So you get a nice multiplier early. I mean, here we are. We're only sort of 4 spins in, and we're sitting on ×16. So, you know, now we're really hoping these remaining spins deliver us a really nice Gigablocks result, or some sort of nice long Ultra Nudge streak here. Oh, so looking like we're all or nothing on the last spin here. No, it didn't come in, but look, you know, that's about 70x. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of typical for what the average win out of free spins is here. And so, you know, it can be quite generous. Like I say, it's not super volatile, but you know, that multiplier can roll, and you know, makes those free spins really exciting sometimes. So look, that's the game. There's not really an awful lot more I can tell you about it. You know, you've seen all the features there, and you know, we're super excited about this one and the collab. And so, you know, that's it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that presentation. And I gotta say, the new theme, it's really, you know, adding to the whole kind of concept of the game. I think it's a really cool sort of take on it. And I mean, obviously what we're seeing here is awesome potential when we're mixing up the Ultra Nudge with the Gigablocks. I guess that's kind of the key, the main selling points of the game here. It's going to be really interesting to play the game and to see how that works, man, because in my head, you know, you're nudging down Gigablocks essentially, and that feels pretty damn good.
It is. It's so powerful, and you know, like it's such a good combination. And the addition of making those multipliers wild as well means that, you know, it really helps keep those streaks going, particularly in free spins where you don't need the Joker character to be able to trigger those Ultra Nudges. But yeah, you're right. You know, and also the way that we balanced it, you know, we haven't gone really heavy on keeping the Gigablocks themselves to the right hand side of the reels, which is kind of a little bit of an easy cheat for a Gigablocks mathematician. But I always make sure the mathematician keeps that nice and fair and keeps those Gigablocks coming in various places. So, you know, you can, it's easily possible to see that. And when you see that big Joker character land on a Gigablock across the first couple of reels, and you know, like, you know, you're on for a really nice streak. Yeah, I mean, it's great. And you're right on the theme. You know, we didn't want to just take those old assets and just, you know, port them straight over to the new math model, if you like. we thought, like, let's give it an update. Let's bring him up. Let's like put him in a slightly different scenario. But it's still obviously still got that retro feel with the fruits and the sevens and the bars and all that sort of thing. So, as a combination goes, yes, taking Ultra Nudge, merging it with Giga Blocks, brilliant. But also just, like I say, giving those graphics an overhaul, but still keeping that retro theme, putting in the new theme music as well. Yeah, we're really excited about this. And the maths itself, as I say, it's got so much good base game stickiness, if you like, because you can really see what it is you're trying to chase very early on. So, yeah, got really high hopes for this one. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, that sounds really good. But let's talk a little bit about the math and kind of the potential, because obviously when you introduce gigablocks, things will happen to the math model, right? Like in comparison to the the first version, so to say, of the game. So
indeed, yeah. I
so
mean, like,
could you walk us
as
through
I
the
probably
potential, like in the base game and like in the bonus round, like what has happened now when we talk about the math?
Yeah. I mean, look, as I probably say to you on all of these road shows, your in-house mechanics are naturally very expensive in
Yeah.
terms of RTP, right? So, it can be a bit of a challenge to get those working nicely with other mechanics, but actually it's a really good fit with Ultra Nudge because you're nudging through, you're getting these wins, and really, although you're ticking over some nice wins, you like the main chase is to combine it with the multipliers, right? And
Yeah.
so that's where the balancing came in. And in the free spins, the max win is probably not quite as explosive as the original game, but it's still a good solid 6,000x, which I think is plenty good enough. And like a lot of these games that we have these lower max wins. I say lower like that because we used to do a lot of max wins over 10,000x, but actually we're kind of moving towards a little bit of a model now where we prefer to do a slightly more reasonable max win, but just have it more accessible to more players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's working out really nicely. The free spins hit rate is just checking that. Yeah, it's sort of 270-ish. So not obscenely high like you might find in a double max game, which are quite regularly over 400 to 1 to hit the free spins. Average free spins, you're going to come away with 75x there, so we weren't a million miles off on our demo there. So it's got a nice rounded. It's not as immediately brutal as a double max game, for example, right? You're not, or a multi max game. You're not sitting there like going on long stretches of winning nothing. But but yeah, it's just got a really nice balance there.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I mean, from what I'm seeing and from what we're seeing, and by talking to a lot of operators, like especially in the regulated markets, I mean, this is a trend. As you mentioned, we're seeing a bigger appetite for a bit more kind of say reasonable games in the sense of you're gonna see more wins in the kind of the lower areas, and so you have more RTP focus in the win vectors of maybe like 50 to 200x, whilst there's less RTP going to the insanely big wins, whilst being very interesting, of course, and used for marketing in a wider sense. I think this is very important to also offer these kind of games.
Well, I think you're right, Alex. And it's one of those things where those big spectacular 10, 15,000x wins. I mean, they're great for the lucky people that get them, and they're sort of awesome for the streamers and the marketing videos. But 99 out of 100 of your players would just really like to see nice 200x every now and again.
They're not streamers, and they don't give a shit about any marketing. They just want to go in and give it a spin. They got 20 minutes to kill, like they want to have something like a good time. I think that's what we're starting to realize now, that people are actually playing like in shorter sessions these days. They have less time on their hands, less disposable income maybe. I mean, we gotta cater to what's happening in the world. But okay, I think that we've
well, I'm going to interrupt you, but I mean, don't get me wrong. This game is by no means soft. Right? But yeah, it's definitely not as toppy at the high end of the max win count. So.
No, definitely. I think that's clear. That's more of a word on the kind of the moving towards the lower a little bit than having a little bit more soft game. Not that it is soft, just to make that absolutely clear. 6,000x, I would still say it's a high. It's a very high win. I mean, if I won 6,000x, that would be incredible. Still, and I feel that.
We'll see what we can do for you, Alex.
Yeah, man. I always appreciate a good call to the Rig Central, you know, when you're having a good like a good session. But anyways, I think that we covered pretty much everything off this game. I mean, we're all super excited. It's going to be super interesting to see how the game performs with a combination of these two mechanics. I have nothing but extremely high hopes for sure.
Good.
So thank you so much once again, Frank, for tuning in to the Roadshow.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us. We'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time. Have a good one, man.
Bye.
All right, welcome to the Roadshow. Craig Ball from Bulletproof Games. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Alex. Very well. Really good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, and I gotta say, I'm also very, very excited to see the game that you got coming up. It's all about the neon, the music, the symphony, and the diamonds, right?
Yes.
So I think, yeah, let's not waste any time. I really want to see the game. Let's get into the gameplay, man.
Excellent. Let's do it. Yeah. So Diamond Symphony is one of our favorite games. It's a real fun game. Music theme slots, as you said, with lots of fun things in there, energy, designed that way. It's got a really lively dance track, colourful neon theme, and yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. So let's get into it. So I want to have a little look at some of the features first before we start spinning the reels. So this is a cascade game. So we've got cascade reels on there. So every time you get a win, the reels will drop down. We also add in there a wild to one of the positions. So that increases the amount of cascades as well and increases the fun for the players. We've got our Cascade Plus mechanic in there. So basically, when you get a win, it sends some sparks across to the trail on the left, and that's how we award free spins. So it's slightly different from the normal mechanic, but we think it fits in really well with the game. So everything's based around the cascade, and that fits in really well. We've also got in there the Yggdrasil Great Double Max mechanic on the right-hand side. So every time you get a win, the multiplier for the wins doubles. And obviously, the more wins you get, that can get pretty big and get some really exciting wins in there, which is great. We've got our Encore mechanic as well, which is something a little bit new. We've got this in a couple of our other games, but in Diamond Symphony, this works by putting a couple of Encore slots on the trail on the left. So what that does is when you land on one of those slots, it gives you a free respin. So the reels want to spin, an extra respin. Any wins on there, you'll be awarded, and then you'll move up the trail again. So you can get an extra 2 respins, and you can also get free spins from the encores if you manage to get extra wins as well. So it's a great mechanic, and again, it ties in really good with the cascade mechanic as well. So let's have a look at how the game plays. So I'm going to bring in Encore just to show you that. And that will then award free spins. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so as you can see here, each time the game cascades, there's a pop there and all the symbols fly across the trail and fill the trail up. And we also add in a wild in there, which I said before, that also helps drive the wins and drive the excitement in the game. So there's our Encore. We've got a nice respin there, so £2 win. And it moves us up the trail, gives another win, and there's another £12.80 win, which is great. So we've got another win, that's good. So that's moved us to 10 free spins. So it plays a little big win, excitable thing there, which is good. So we're into the game now with 10 free spins. So one of the things with free spins is the double max doesn't reset. So as you might imagine, that means the double max multiplier will get pretty big, so long as you keep on winning in free spins. One thing we also do is we add an extra 3 spins onto the trail, which you can win. So what we're trying to do here is give the players more free spins in the free spins part, so they can get more and more wins to get higher up the trail to get the bigger wins. So the longer you stay in free spins and keep on winning, the bigger the wins. So the game really drives up the excitement the longer that you play it. And I think that's one of the good things about this game, that it brings all the features together to work in harmony to bring the wins in for the players and bring the excitement. It's a lot of fun as well. You can see in there's a lot of things going on. We've got lots of animations, glitter, we've got the dividers flashing, we've got the background flying around, we've got glows in there. So there's a lot of visual excitement for the player as well. We also pay wins really clearly. Obviously, there's a lot going on in a fairly short space of time. So we present those wins to the player really clearly by presenting that in the center of the screen. So at any time, the player can understand what's going on. So there you go. There's the Diamond Symphony presentation. We're really happy with how it looks and how it feels. It's done as we said, in a very neon theme. So it's got a lot of nice dance music in there, a lot of good neon stuff in there, and glows and things that makes the players really enjoy the game and have lots of fun playing it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that presentation. And I gotta say, this game really pops. Like, this is one of these games, you know, if I go into a casino lobby and I see this thumbnail, you know, it stands out, you know, like with the theme. Definitely. I love the music, and obviously the neon lights, crazy nice stuff. It's like a nighttime gaming session, you know, like you have the neon lights on, you know, like, yeah, you know, you're playing your games. It's just puts me in a really nice mood. But let's start kind of from the beginning here. Like, I want to hear a little bit from like a development perspective here, how the game came to be. Obviously, you have the double max feature, which is pretty big. It means a lot in terms of what you can do and can't do with the math. But then you have the theme. So can you walk me through kind of what came first, theme mechanic, and how you work those together?
I think it was mainly the theme. We wanted to do a Cascade game, and I probably shouldn't admit this, but I'm a child of the 80s. So I really like the neon blue and pink and the fun dance music. That's kind of my youth. So a little bit, there's probably my youth coming out in this as well. Probably should admit that, but it's a really good fun game, and I think that's why we enjoy it so much. You know, we've put a lot into it, and the theme and the kind of the visuals of it and how it presents itself and the player journey as well, we've put a lot of time into it, and that's a really fun thing. The mechanics really came after, and the double max mechanic just really fits with the whole Cascade and the Encore and the Cascade Plus mechanic. Everything just fits together, and when you get all of those individual elements coming together, they all complement each other, and it creates a really thrilling and fun experience for the player.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree there. Let's talk a little bit about the math model of the game from a player journey perspective. I mean, a lot of our viewers and, you know, the operators, they're very familiar with the double max mechanic, but I think you've made some really interesting additions to what you normally see in a double max game. So if you could kind of walk us through, you know, what's happening in the base game, the bonus game, etc., and what kind of player expect, you know, reasonably within a player session.
Yeah, sure. Well, the hit frequency in the base game is 1 in 4, so you can expect to see quite a lot of activity in the base game. So that will obviously keep the players encapsulated until they are awarded the free spins. The feature frequency is 1 in 160 normally, but we've got the Encore feature in there as well. So for an extra 50% of the stake, the feature frequency is doubled to 1 in 78. So that's a really good way of reducing the volatility for the player by enabling the Encore. Normally this is quite a high volatility game, but adding the Encore in there, you can get into the feature a lot quicker. And of course, if you want to get into the feature straight away, we do have the buy bonus option on there for territories that allow it as well.
Yeah, and for the buy bonus, like what are the options like in the buy bonus? Like how many times a stake does it cost to get in there?
So we've got a couple of options in buy bonus. The first one is times 100 stake, and that will award you between 7 and 15 free spins.
Okay, nice.
So it will drop in on the 7 on the trail and may potentially go up to 15. For 200 times your stake, that will award you between 12 and 15. So yeah, it's a couple of options there for the players. Again, depends on how volatile they want the game to be. But again, like I said before, the more free spins that you get, the further up the trail, you know, you will get, the more wins and the higher the double max multiplier, and the better the game will be. So the more free spins you enter with, the more exciting it's going to be.
Yeah, naturally. And every spin carries a really high value, of course, with the non-resetting multipliers here. That's
Definitely.
awesome stuff. But I want to ask, on a personal note, like as a player, what do you like? Do you buy bonus in the game? I mean, is that something you appreciate, or is that something you feel kind of takes away a little bit from the natural player journey? What's your opinion here?
I think my personal style, again, it's up to individual players, but my personal style is I like to play the game a bit and get some enjoyment out of it. I like to see the base game, see the animations, and enjoy the player journey that the developers have put into there. But then I think I also want to see, well, what's the bonus? What's the exciting thing? What am I trying to achieve here? So I think if I've played the base game for some time and not seen the bonus, then I'll cheat and I'll buy the bonus.
It sounds a bit like, it's the tilt comes in, like, you play the game like, I want to see how this ends.
Yes,
I
that's
want to
exactly
see
what
the
it
game.
is.
I think it's an interesting question. I like to ask this, everybody is different, right? So I mean, but in the markets where it is allowed, buy bonus is very popular, and I think some games, when you design a game, when you make a game, like it's kind of hard if you have the two options, right? Because who will you cater to in the end? I think it's very different kind of mindset, and I guess it's a bit hard to do it like a game that plays really well, kind of the natural all natural, and a game that plays really well with a bonus. I think it's interesting, and we've seen some interesting takes on that recently. But anyways, let's end up here with a $1 million question, so to say.
Right.
Who do you think this game is for?
I think it's for it's a high volatility game. It's got quite novel mechanics as well. So it's probably aimed at slightly more high rollers, certainly with the 200 times stake. That will give you a much more of a high volatility in terms of getting the wins as well. But you can change the volatility somewhat with adding the encore on there. So it's probably kind of the slightly more high volatility players. In terms of demographics, like I said, it's probably going to be probably slightly older people appreciate the look and feel of it. But then I've got to say, 80s music's making a comeback, and there's a lot of stuff in the charts at the moment which is based on 80s, and I've got to say it's really popular, and I think this will do well with the much younger generation as well. So I think we'll be able to catch a broad audience with this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what's that Netflix show called? Stranger Things, like like with the likes of that stuff, coming in and being very popular with a younger audience as well.
Definitely.
It's funny, like, you can have a 90s, even a 20s person coming in and get this kind of nostalgia for an age that they didn't even exist in. I think there's a word for that when you have nostalgia for an age that didn't exist, and I can't remember it straight off the bat, but that word, insert
That
here.
word. Edit that in later.
Exactly. Anyways, thank you so much, Craig, for coming on to the Roadshow. It was a true pleasure to have you here, and it was really good to see your game. It really pops. It looks amazing. Can't wait to see how it performs.
Alex, thank you for having me. It's been really great, and look forward to the next one.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. All right, Sebastian Belton is back. He is now in the jungle, as you can see, and he's going to show us a beast of a game. I'm really looking forward to this one, because there's something really, really special about this game with the two mechanics that I really, really like. So let's I want to see the game. Let's get into the game.
Excellent. Let's jump straight in then, Alex, to Beastie Blocks, Giga Blocks. So here we are, Beastie Blocks, Giga Blocks, Super Stacks. As you guys are aware, this is actually a Jelly Entertainment game. I am presenting on their behalf. It is a Giga Blocks game, so it's using one of our famous gems. As always, Giga Blocks games are very well received. The base game here is very straightforward. The idea really is to get those Giga Blocks activated and try to get some wilds in there for the really big potential wins in the base game. The Giga Blocks themselves will always give you that huge potential for big wins. Beastie Blocks, Giga Blocks, Super Stacks. I wouldn't say the whole game, just call it Beastie Blocks to make it simple. you know, is really all about that. You know, the experience of getting those big wins are always available for the customers, no matter what they do. And that game, that's really the meat and potatoes of the experience in the base game. To activate those big Giga Blocks wins, and anyone that's a fan of Giga Blocks in general will love this game. It plays to those kind of mechanics very well, and it's a very much does what it says on the tin type of experience for the base game. But as you will soon see, we will you can see here is a very good win here. We just got the aces there, and because of that Giga Blocks, it is a massive win there. On a €4 bet, we did a 1.6k return, just like that. As you can see, the excitement of the base game, as an example, can be just like that in one spin, can change the process. Here we go into free spins. You need a minimum of 5 symbols. You can see here we got the free spin counters, 1 per each, and then 2 on the end, giving us a total of 6 free spins. Now we get into the exciting part. The change of the whole feel of the experience here is with the super stacks and the wilds being changed to multiply. So you can see the wilds are replaced with a 2x multiplier. These can be stacked. And they can end in humongous wins in conjunction with the super stacks. As you may be familiar, super stacks has been used in previous Jelly games. They're bringing it back in conjunction with the Giga Blocks and this multiplier mechanic, which I've just mentioned. Hugely volatile. There's the super stacks in action there, giving us increased way wins for huge potential. This can be gargantuan in terms of potential wins. The volatility there, really an application for those people that want to really go for gold, really get that massive potential win experience. You can see there, €119 win. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Seb, from the jungle, in the jungle. All you need is 1 spin to take it all. It's awesome stuff. I'm just imagining here, I'm sitting here thinking, stacked Giga Blocks. Super stacked Giga Blocks. Sounds good, anyone? Sounds pretty good to me. And that's what we get in the jungle. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit about the theme. Now, this is not your game. You're not part of this game, but you have been talking to Jelly quite a bit, I know. And, you know, you have insights in the development of the game. So I, of course, want to know the thought process behind combining the stacks, the super stacks, with the Giga Blocks and putting them into the jungle. So if you could walk us through the kind of the development process here and the thoughts behind this mix.
Sure, Alex. As you mentioned, I am not part of the Jelly Entertainment development process, but I'm doing this presentation on their behalf. You know, whilst I can't speak frankly on the detail, I can give my personal opinion on why it may be occurring, and that would most likely be to do the fact that the Super Stacks mechanic is a Jelly Entertainment mechanic, the one that they're very proud of, and it's seen, you know, its inclusion in the most recent one, which was the Benji game, and that did very well with the super stacks mechanic. Giga Blocks obviously is our own gem, and so with a conjoining of both of these mechanics, seems like a no-brainer to give a fiery explosive slot game. As mentioned, it is really for those players that are looking to go big or go home. Well, not literally, obviously don't want them to drain their bank account dry, but obviously for those people that really want to go in there and hopefully experience a big bonus round and go out feeling very good. And at the very least, the entertainment from the exhilarating potential is there at all times with this game, and it definitely delivers in those departments.
Awesome stuff. I mean, you mentioned it multiple times in your presentation as well, and I think it's a key aspect of the game. Like, this is a very volatile game. You're gonna spend some time looking for that 1 spin that will change your life. So I'm assuming now when we talk about the math, we're gonna have that kind of experience from a player journey perspective coming into the game. Will we see some dead spins? Can you tell us a little bit about how it plays in terms of potential?
Well, I mean, as you and I both know, Alex, it is gambling at the end of the day. All slots have that element of potential dead spins, no matter what game it is. But it's about the potential of what could happen. It's the apprehension of waiting to see if you can line up those super stacks with the multipliers and the free spins to really get something that will be exciting. And it's you never know. You never know if that's going to happen. And when it does, it changes the whole game. You can be down on your last couple of euros on that spin, and suddenly, boom, you hit a super stacks maxed out with a giga blocks or with a multiplier. So you hit a multiplier, a 4x4 giga blocks with super stacks matching the symbols, and then you get 2 multipliers giving you a 3x and a 2x, and suddenly you're off on holiday the next week. Just like that.
That's good.
That's pretty much that's how I would summarize it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much right, man. I mean, in physics we have this law. It's Murphy's law that says anything that can happen will happen.
Will happen.
Actually, Murphy's law says anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but I mean that can be translated into anything that can happen will happen for sure.
It's the glass half full, glass half empty approach on that.
That's how it is. But my point here is somebody will win big, and it might be you that's playing the game, and that's the thrill of the spin.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think this kind of ties up the sack here quite nicely, talking about who this game is for. Naturally, it's gonna be for the kind of player that is looking for this experience where every spin is exciting in the sense that if you hit it big, it's gonna go crazy, So, but other than that, what can we say in terms of player demographics, that we haven't already kind of mentioned? Is there anything else you could bring to light here?
Well, I mean, we've very briefly touched on the theme. Jungle themes, quite cool, quite well received, good spread across European markets for sure. So it'll hit a lot of our key sort of thematic points of interest to customers across most European sectors. We've also, with far-reaching interest in Asian markets as well. So thematically, it's definitely on point. The visuals are very good. They've got that kind of real punchy greeniness to it, like you can see in my background. It's a very vibrant color, jungle sort of vibe to it. And as you saw in the reels as well, they're very graphically well developed. So it's a really good looking game. It's not, it's important to touch upon that. We haven't really gone into those details. So that's something definitely to take into account. In terms of customer interest, I think it's, of course it's going to be for people that want to have that big blowout experience, and they go in there, they put the 50 euros on for the month, and Beastie Blocks is the kind of game where just entertainment. Go in there, if we get it, great. If we don't, we go home, but at least we had fun. And that's really what gambling comes down to at the end of the day. It's about having entertainment and the chance of you always taking home that big win. And that's what, as you said, that's what this game delivers on, really, what it tries to deliver on.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. And I'll let that be the closing words for the panel of the die. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in again, Seb, and speaking on behalf of Jelly here with the game. That's always a pleasure to have you. And I have a hunch I'll see you in the next edition as well.
Most certainly.
All right, man. Until next time then, have a good one.
Goodbye.